When sports are life and life is sports, I'm James Simmons, and I got 5 on it. With the new hire of a head football coach at Bethune-Cookman University, are they on the road to recovery? Let's get into it. I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about the recent events that have been occurring at Bethune-Cookman University. The university has just hired a new football coach, Raymond Woody Jr. He comes from Florida State, Oregon, South Florida, and some high school stops in between. With that being said, it looks like they got themselves a good coach to lead that football team. And might I also add, Coach Woody is an alumni of Bethune-Cookman University. Bethune has been in the news a lot over the last couple of weeks, and not really for great reasons. Students have been out on campus protesting the conditions of their dorms, facilities, so on and so forth. Roland Martin has come to the school. He's done some town halls. He has had interviews with Dr. Drake, the interim president of the university. And I found it very interesting, some of the findings. It's been well documented that Coach Reed took to social media, airing out a lot of dirty laundry. A lot of folks felt that that was not the way to go about it. I must admit, I was one of those people. But with the recent turn of events and all that is happening, it appears that his method, whether we consider it right or wrong, has had some effect. He may not be coaching the football team, but the student body has been rallied, demands have been made, and some action has finally taken place. The president of the university, interim president, Dr. Drake, has announced that over 60 buildings are in need of repair on the university grounds. He's also announced that $10 million will be spent in the efforts to get these facilities up to par. It's going to take some time, but it sounds like the university is on the road to recovery. In addition to those changes that have taken place, Dr. Drake has also mentioned that there needs to be a higher level of transparency in their university's communications. Not just communicating the things that are going on campus, but more importantly, something that all have wanted has been the transparency of dollars and cents that have been spent. With that being said, I want to take a minute to talk about a recent interview that was on a very popular show, ESPN show. Jay Will, Max, and Keyshawn had Doug Williams on. And Doug Williams is beloved for being the first black quarterback to start and to win an NFL Super Bowl. Doug was not on to talk about the Super Bowl, but he was on to talk about a little bit of the states of affair of the HBCU culture with funding, and particularly about how things were going at Bethune-Cookman. I have a clip and I'd like to play it. So let's take a minute to look at that.
Your thoughts around what you think occurred with Ed Reed and Bethune-Cookman?
Well, I'm a black college advocate. I went there, and you got to look at it from this standpoint. If you've gone to a black college, you understand what you're dealing with. We already know that we underfunded. Mm-hmm. That ain't gonna happen. We can't compete with Miami and all the other big schools. So when you go in there as a coach, and I coached at Grambling for 8 years, and I knew what I was working with. Because number one, playing for Coach Eddie Robinson, one thing he always told us, that we've done so much with so little, we can almost do anything without nothing. So, you go, that's the mindset you got to go in there with. But Ed went in there, I like Ed Reed, but you can't go in there demanding certain things happen and saying what you want to happen, and then you got to air out the complaints. That's tough, man. And Deion went to Jackson, and it was a whole new ball game. Deion went in there, and he know he didn't have a whole lot to work with, but he got it. He rolled his sleeves up. He did what he had to do, and he left Jackson better off than what he did when he got there. But he went on and did what he's supposed to do. He got an opportunity to coach at another level, got paid well, and got to move on. Okay. But at the same time, you go into Bethune-Cookman, you have to know what you got before you get there. You know you didn't have that, so you can't go back and say, we don't have this, we didn't have that, or what have you. And even the kids that say what they didn't have, they went to school there. They knew they didn't have it, but
just because they knew they didn't have it at one point in time does not mean that they can't aspire, hope, and wish to receive it at some point in time.
Same time, hopefully that they'll get better, but at the same time, never be what Miami, LSU, Alabama, that ain't gonna ever happen, man, because it's gonna always be underfunded.
As you can see from the video, there were several things that I did agree with Doug Williams in regards to the states of HBCUs and funding. And there were also things that I disagreed with him. Primarily his last statement of being underfunded, and that's always going to be the case. As we are in the month of February, and this is Black History Month, we could go on to say that this is something that we had to fight for. We could say that we would never be a free people. We could say that we would never have a black president. We could say we would never have 2 black starting quarterbacks in the NFL to start a Super Bowl game, which we will have in 2023. We could say that there are a lot of things that we could never have in our history or in our lifetime. But with that mentality, we certainly would never have those things. So I just wanted to point out the fact that in order to get to another level, we have to see that vision. We have to have the grit and the fight to get to that new level. And we'll have to never stop fighting until we achieve the things that we want to achieve. And I'm not saying that Doug was saying that we don't have the wherewithal to accomplish, we don't have the wherewithal to get to those things. But I just wanted to drive home the point. Our mentality is what's going to lead us to whatever level we get to. And I think that was the ultimate message of a newer person coming into the HBCU culture, saying, infusing that energy that just because our facilities are where they are today, it doesn't mean they can't get to where we want them to be for tomorrow. So I want to thank Ed for being courageous in his approach, being true to himself, and doing what he felt needed to be done to get there. Now it's up to Bethune-Cookman University and its administration to lay out a plan of action, stick to that plan of action, and get to the next level at their university. Listening to an interview with Roland Martin and Dr. Drake, the question was asked, you're at this level now. What does it take to get to the next level? And it appeared to me with the answer from Dr. Drake that he needs to get the appropriate personnel in place to help lead this university to get to the next level in their development. He seems committed and dedicated to do that. It just remains to be seen if that is accomplished or not. That's my take. Thank you for your support. I'll see you on the next I Got 5 on It. Take care. God bless. Be well.